Morning, Ms. Levy. And you were charged with driving while intoxicated. It's elevated to a Class A misdemeanor because of the high blow. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, man.
Yes, Judge. On January 16th, 2025 at 2:02 a.m., the officer was dispatched in an attempt to locate. The officer was advised the defendant's sister was concerned for her well-being after not hearing from her. The defendant's sister stated her last known location was the Den, a bar, where she got a flat tire. While searching the area, the officer located the defendant's vehicle at the entrance of the University of Houston, and a witness was flagged down to assist changing the defendant's flat tire. The witness stated he observed the defendant as the sole occupant of the driver's seat of the vehicle, and the surveillance video showed the defendant's vehicle in motion at the time the witness came into contact with the defendant. The defendant was identified with Texas driver's license, and the officer made contact and observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, red, glossy, bloodshot eyes, and slurred speech. The defendant admitted to drinking a wine cooler earlier in the day, and standard field sobriety tests were conducted. The officer observed the defendant to be unsteady on her feet as she walked to the sidewalk, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 5 out of 8, one leg stand 1 out of 4. The DIC was red and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.185 and 0.181.
And you're telling me there's video of her driving?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Levy, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Have you run your license and any prior DWIs?
Driver's license is eligible and no priors, Your Honor.
Okay. I am ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. You will be randomly tested. If you consume alcohol, illegal drugs, I'm going to revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand, ma'am? Would you like to apply for a court-appointed lawyer? Okay, I'll give you an application. I'll take a look at your numbers, and if you qualify, we'll provide you a lawyer today. Okay, just everything's fine. Don't worry. Just be safe. Okay, just don't. Okay, I don't want to talk about the case. Let's have you fill out the application, then I'll have you talk to a lawyer today. Okay, ma'am? Please.
Right this way.
Good morning, Mr. Newman. Sir, you're charged with evading arrest or detention. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 15th, 2025, the officer was dispatched to Texas Southern regarding a male on campus possibly carrying a firearm. The caller provided the name and dispatch ran through arms and located a recent picture and a trespass notice. The officer observed the defendant walk into the library, immediately walked out accompanied by a second black male, and the officer attempted to detain the defendant, and the defendant ran northbound, ran through an apartment complex. The officer drove through the complex and set up a perimeter and observed the defendant run out of the complex. The officer exited a marked patrol vehicle in full uniform, drew a duty weapon, and ordered the defendant to the ground. The defendant ignored the commands and continued running and was assisted to the ground by the officer. The defendant stated he ran due to being scared. The defendant evaded approximately 0.4 miles.
What was he doing wrong?
So there was a report of a possible firearm on campus, and the caller provided the name, and he was attempting to investigate that, and he was just trying to detain him to
They
investigate.
give the description of him.
They just gave the name, and then they
A name
ran
of-
that through arms, and they found a picture of that person.
So the caller gave the name of Mr. Newman?
Yes, Judge. Gave Mr. Newman's name. The officer ran that name and found a picture, and then observed him leaving the library and attempted to detain him.
Yes.
And then he ran.
There was also a current trespass notice for the defendant as well.
Yes, Judge.
From TSU?
From the arms or TSU.
Yes, Judge. They found for TSU through arms.
Mr. Newman, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Let's do this. I'm going to appoint you a lawyer today because there's several things that we need to look at. So do you mind reaching out to the MAC for Mr. Newman? Mr. Newman, assuming we go forward with the case, you're not to be in possession of weapons. Do you understand? I'm
Yes,
making
sir.
that a condition of your bond.
Yes, sir.
If I find that you have any weapons, I'm going to revoke your bond. I'm going to put you in jail.
Yes, sir.
Just all I want is my community to be safe. I'm not asking for much. You understand? Okay. I'm going to have you sign a reset Victoria, then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box, sir. Okay?
Counsel on your docket, HALSELL.
It's, it was his prior court date, he was in custody and he's now made bonds. We just need to get bond conditions on him.
He's here? Okay.
And, and I think that's it. I'm also filing a competency and mental health evaluation.
Say it again.
A competency evaluation.
You're going to set it?
I'm going to what's the date, but I understand his mom told me that he gets one every month through the Harris Center. So I'm gonna see if I can have access to those records or if they're the same as what we would do here, but I'm gonna look into that.
Okay. Hall cell, come up.
Oh, I have it. Yeah.
Hi, come up. You're a mom?
I am.
How are you?
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Appreciate you for having me.
You know, Mr. Hall, so with the 4 open cases, you're lucky to be out. You know, you really need to listen to mom so that a 5th case doesn't occur. It's not going to go well if you pick up a 5th one. Do you understand?
You have to excuse me, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
They're trying to do 2 medicines on him. And it doesn't have him here with us, if it makes sense. He's listening, but it has him, if you speak, he's dragging. And I'm okay with that because I can control what's going on. As I was there, I work in the business. I work in conjunction with the one thing the sheriff department. And I work with the homeless. I came out of engineering because he taught me 2 things. I have to pay attention to what's going on at home and not just give love to people on the street. It makes sense, right?
That's great.
That's
wonderful.
done my homework recently, these big last 2 situations. His grandmother and his grandfather is dealing, they had mental ideations as well. So it triggers, mom says, be careful who you choose, but we can't be careful who you choose, right?
Right.
So I'm holding on gracefully to this. You have to excuse my appearance. I've been in cold gray.
Oh, please, you look great. But my concern is that please tell me he's living with you?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay.
As I said, I'm bringing paperwork together to get custodial.
Guardianship. Okay.
To get him placement to stay there.
You know, I'm happy to, whatever you need, we're happy to give you. You know, we have a lot of resources here that we can always, you know, try to help you with, you know.
Appreciate you.
All you need to do is ask, you know, if you need tablets, cell phones. We can also do evaluations to see, you know, how we go forward. So I'm all ears and I'm with you, whatever you want, you know, whatever conditions you think are appropriate, we can put on it.
We just had an evaluation on the.
Is mom's the CW in the cases? Or?
So Judge, these are old cases from what I remember, 2022,
So the-
ID, the trespass.
Well, we have one terroristic threat of a peace officer or a judge. Is that right? I just,
Okay, this is what happened.
no, don't. I just,
We just did a psych evaluation
okay.
and we were in the room. I hope I.
No, let's not, don't. It's really, it's,
I'll talk about that right now.
yeah, that's something that we can do later. But at this time, I will leave him in your care, your, whatever you need, we're here to help you out with. The only thing I'm going to ask is just you guys, just please stay in touch with Kavita. She will help you out. And I just don't want a 5th case. That's it. I'm with you. So how long do you want to set it out, Kavita?
I think maybe a 6-week, the evaluation, all the medical together and talk.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to waive his appearance. That way he doesn't have to waste his time coming to court, but just be nice. Self-control. All these cases are because of no self-control. You get upset and we go. But think, it's okay. We all get angry. We all do. But just think before you act. Think before you speak. That's it. Listen to mom. If you ever need anything, come back and I can help you out with whatever you need. Just say the word. Okay?
Judge, in regards to bond conditions, how did you want to handle that?
So the bond conditions that I'd like, it just, no contact with ever the terroristic threat cases and just no weapons. That's all I would like. It's not, my concern is that it was a healthcare provider, because that's what I was thinking. Is that someone that he's currently seeing? Do you know? Alex, who in the
So in the
most recent case, who's the complaining witness?
most recent case, let me see. It says the reporting party.
Oh, that case is upstairs. It's not even with us. I'm
It's a felony,
sorry.
Your Honor.
So disregard it. I thought it was with us.
Yes, Judge.
So the only condition is just no weapons. That's it. Okay. And just stay in contact with your lawyer. Okay. Absolutely. Mr. Halsell, good luck, bud. All right. Okay. Thanks, committee.
Thank you, Judge. May you be excused?
Good morning, Mr. Chavez. So you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you 3 days in jail with credit for the 2 days that you've done. You need to understand, sir, that this charge will go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. When you plead guilty, you give up the right to appeal, meaning that you can never change this. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
You are giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. Do you understand these rights that you're giving up?
Yes.
You also need to understand that there are no more proverbial slaps on the wrist. From now on, you are facing a minimum of 30 days in jail for any new cases that you pick up in here. And if you're not in this country with permission, you do anything short of more than 6 hours, you will get an ICE detainer. So if I were you, I would never, even if you've had a sip of alcohol, get into a car and drive. Do you understand?
Yes, I
How do you
understand.
plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I'm going to find you guilty. I will sentence you to 3 days in jail, give you credit for the 2. I'm going to suspend your ability to drive for 90 days. Do not drive, otherwise you're going to be right back over here, sir. What does your client do for a living, sir? What does your client do for a living?
He does the carpentry work, Judge, labor work, Judge, the framing, that kind of thing. Home framing.
I'm asking this because there is a DPS surcharge that they usually tack on for around $3,000. I will waive this fee for you now, but I'm telling you on a DWI second, it's around a $6,000 surcharge on a DWI second. So get a clue. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You're allowed to make a mistake, but when you continue to make mistakes where you endanger other people's lives, there are serious consequences. Good luck, sir. All right, wait a minute. All right,
One of the things, there's a portable device, Judge, that you've been.
we'll take it off.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, please. the clerk. Yeah. Good morning, Mr. LZ.
Mr. Chavez. Here, take it away.
It looks like you were charged with 2 cases. You were charged with criminal trespass. You're also charged with criminal mischief. On both of those, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You've worked out an agreement. They're offering you 48 days in jail with credit for the 16 that you've done on the criminal trespass. They're dismissing the other case.
Yes, Your Honor. Time served on the criminal trespass and dismissing criminal.
Is this how you understand it, sir?
Yes.
You need to understand also that this charge will go on your record. You're now facing a minimum of 30 days in jail for any new cases that you pick up. You give up a lot of rights by entering this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. Like I said, you give up the right to appeal. So once you plead guilty, it stays on your record. Is this what you want to do?
But I believe so.
How do you plead? How do you plead to the offense? Guilty.
I believe.
All right, I'm going to find you guilty. I'll follow the agreement. Good luck to you, sir.
What about the enhancement?
Abandon. Yeah. Or wait a second. Is it listed as?
It's listed as.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
Yes.
He's got to. Is it true or come up, Mr. LZ? Is it true or untrue that you had a prior terroristic threat, sir?
I'm on my medication, so I missed my medication. I have trouble getting my medication. I was just,
Did you have a prior terroristic threat in the past? It looks like from August of this past year with us.
I don't remember any terroristic threat towards you guys, or.
No, just in general.
You had a case in this court that you took 57 days time on, and that was August 20th of 2024. Do you remember taking that plea bargain?
I believe I was in court before, but,
That's all we need to know. That's it. Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, are you ready? Come on up, Count. Thank you so much for coming. It's great. So what's going on with Mr. Ridley now?
I have had some students like the holiday work schedule, but he's looking for a job and I'm trying to get him my 2 steps.
So you're not doing anything now? You stay at home and do nothing?
I was.
He's looking for a job.
I got put like 3-4 applications in.
School is more important, Mr. Ridley. You need to get your education, man. You need a high school diploma. At worst comes to worst, we can give you paperwork so you can do the schooling at home and get your GED online at a minimum, and we can give it to you for free. But I mean, you're at home you're not working, you're not going to school, you're doing nothing to make life better for yourself. Life doesn't get easier the older you get. It gets more difficult. If you don't have a job, if you don't have an education, you will end up nowhere. And life sucks without money. Trust me. Do you understand? Okay. Do you mind giving them the paperwork, please? We need to be somewhere, Mr. Ridley. I'm going to give you another couple weeks, 2.5 weeks. At the minimum, be enrolled to start working on your GED. Do you understand? I'm also going to drug test you. I'm not going to let you there's no smoking weed, none of this. Do you understand? If I find that you're using, I'm going to revoke your bond. I'm going to keep you. Do you understand? All right.
One other issue, Judge, we would request, the complainant has made contact with the DA's office and let her thoughts be known on the case in a RIP call. And so we request that the no contact be just brought down to no threatening, harassing.
Who is it?
It's a girlfriend situation, Judge. And I spoke to DV about it. He reviewed it and said he was going to leave notes, that they had no opposition to that.
Yeah, or even something else?
And yes, that is correct. The RIP does say no contact, so no threatening, harassing would be fine.
Okay. I will amend your bond condition, Mr. Ridley, to have no lasting contact with the complaining witness in this case. You're not to be in possession of any weapons. Do you understand? You need to start working on your education. Life doesn't get easier. Do you understand?
Sorry.
That's my main concern. You graduate, you get your GED, we're all going to be jumping up and down because that's what you need. Without a high school diploma, you will literally make pennies when everybody else is making dollars. Need Do you understand? I'm bringing you back in 2 weeks. If you've done nothing, it's not going to go well. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, see you in 2 weeks. All right. So they're going to dismiss the trespass. We go forward on the DWI second.
Yes, Judge.
You are charged of driving while intoxicated, second offense. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You know, you just heard what I said to this other gentleman here. Life doesn't get easier. It gets a lot more difficult the older you get. And when you start racking up convictions, all you're doing is you're making the life even just more difficult. If you have a drug and alcohol problem, there are ways to address it. But when you endanger other people's lives, you may end up digging a hole that's so deep you will never crawl your ass out of it. And you'll be stuck like Chuck in custody for the next 40 years. It happens time and again. If you don't believe me, watch the news. Every single day, someone dies from a DWI in our county. Yesterday, a construction worker. Take an Uber. It's extremely easy. They make it so easy that all you literally have to do is push one button. Because I'm going to tell you now, with your history, if you ever get pulled over and an officer smells anything funky, you're going to go down. And this time, it's out of my hands. From now on, you're in felony court. You're 2 to 10 at the penitentiary. Even the faintest smell of alcohol. Do you understand, Mr. J.A.s?
Yes, sir.
Somehow we have to get through to you. Hopefully it doesn't take the fact that you sit there charged with a 5 to life case because you've done something that just can't get out. Get a clue. You give up a lot of rights by entering this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, these will go on your record. 1 and 1 are 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. A third, you're looking at 2 to 10 at the penitentiary. Do you understand?
Sir.
The rest of your life. What are you, 32 right now?
31.
31. You're going to be driving for the next 40 years. How do you plead to the offense of second offense driving while intoxicated? I'm going to find you guilty. I'm going to sentence you to 330 days in jail. I'll give you credit for the 113 days that you've done. I am going to suspend your license for 1 year. Do not drive until you get a license. What do you do for a living, Mr. J.A.s? How much money do you make a month?
0 right now.
I'm appointed to this case, Judge.
So you're working for free? What?
Yes.
I don't know. Well, why would we reward him? He was to obtain a device he just never did.
He doesn't have a vehicle, Your Honor. I was notified by pretrial yesterday that there was this BVR. Talked to Mr. J.A.s about it. He didn't have a vehicle, and by his account, that didn't have a vehicle. He didn't know what to do. But he's here today.
So you just do whatever you want? I mean, this continue to happen over and over and over. I mean,
He spent, better part of 4 months, 3 months in jail, awaiting resolution of this case. He has done that time, Your Honor. He's working now. I really believe that to help him get better, he needs to put this behind him and get started with a new phase of his life.
Mr. J.A.s, I'm going to waive the court costs and I'll waive the DPS fine and surcharge. Just take a damn Uber, man. It's not hard. One button on your phone. All this could be avoided by hitting one button on your phone. All right, good luck.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Buenos días, nomás escuchen pues y conteste en voz alta, por favor.
I don't think that, I don't know if have we found probable cause on this first case? Or I mean, on the new case? Let me express my extreme disappointment, Mr. Guevara Ortiz. You now stand charged with yet another DWI. On this one, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 19th, 2025, at 11:43 p.m., the officer was dispatched due to a concerned citizen following a possible intoxicated driver. The call was near Northborough in Houston County, Harris County, Texas. The officer arrived at a public place and observed the defendant, the driver, and sole occupant of the vehicle. And the witness stated the defendant was observed to have severe damage to the front passenger side, and he struggled to stay in its lane several times. The witness had eyes on the defendant until the officer arrived, and the officer made contact with the defendant, who advised that he had 3 Coronas and was coming from a gas station where he purchased the beers while driving home.
So drinking while,
No, Your Honor, there's no indication of that. He just purchased while driving home. And the officer observed glossy eyes, delayed responses, and a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage. The officer conducted standard field sobriety tests, HGN 6 out of 6. The defendant refused the walk and turn and one-leg stand due to the cold temperatures. The defendant was read the DIC and consented to prep. The results were 0.189 and 0.177.
Mr. Guevara Ortiz, I'm going to find that there's enough probable cause to go forward with your case, and I am now going to revoke your bond on your first case, and I'm going to set it at 10,001. You now also have an immigration detainer, so you will be stuck in there, I guess, until I need to know, counsel, if you guys are planning on trying to get him an immigration bond or not.
Your Honor, we don't represent him on the immigration case, but it's my understanding from Mr. Breston that there's an effort to address that.
Okay. You're signing on for Mr. Breston now, right?
For him, yeah, I work for him. Yes, sir.
Got it. All right. Mr. Guevara Ortiz, I'm now ordering you to have an ankle monitor on your ankle, and I'm giving you a curfew of 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I'm going to put a scram ankle monitor on you so I know that you're not consuming alcohol. On your other ankle, you will get a GPS monitor. I don't know if you're getting out of custody, but if you do get out of custody, these will be your bond conditions. You will have on one ankle, like I said, a scram monitor so I know that you're not consuming alcohol. On your other, you will get a GPS monitor so I know that you're abiding by curfew. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we'll set you out for 30 days. Just keep us in the loop. If you are able to get an immigration bond, you must be here the next business day. If you fail to do so, I'm going to revoke both of your bonds and set them extremely high. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Hey, come on up.